All right. Real Estate Radio, welcome. And this is our Get to Know series. Our episode today is Mr. John Reinhardt. And John and I have known each other for a long time. We were just kind of chatting about that offline, but it's amazing how it's about 20 years when I first contacted your company. And knowing that whole world, my family had partly grown up in the Brooklyn area, partly in Staten Island, and then my family's whole in Connecticut now. But what I want to do when I start these, John, is try to make it very easy on everybody, including the host. And we're going to have three questions. We're going to start with one that's kind of fun. And hopefully, I think I might know the answer. That's why I start with an easy one. But do you remember Donnie and Marie Osmond?
Yeah.
The song, A Little Bit Country. So are you a little bit country?
I'm not ashamed to say it, that I really do.
Yeah, well, we grew up then. So a little bit country, or are you a little bit rock and roll?
Okay. Well, I'm a little bit of both. I listen to both. I grew up with rock and roll and disco era in Brooklyn, and then I find myself when I go away on the weekends, I have a little country house. I like to chill and listen to some great country music.
Really? Like contemporary
country and a little bit rock and roll and a little bit disco too.
and you admit it, which I'm proud that you did that. So wait, though, country is like Willie Nelson, old school country, or more contemporary country of today?
Johnny Cash.
Right on. I just saw Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan thing with Carl Perkins. They did a song, never recorded, and they're going to be putting it, I think, next week. Johnny Cash,
I didn't
Bob
know
Dylan.
that. That's good to know.
I'll send you the link. Okay, so that's a great get to know for those that are out there. Say, gosh, I was missing my Johnny Cash.
That's great.
And then my band's actually U2, and U2 and Johnny Cash are really close. They did a song called The Wanderer together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's go into the heart of it. My video this weekend was about door knocking. And not being a realtor, just trying to walk the walk, and I preach it. I say, guys, you got to do some door knocking. It makes so much sense. You're introducing who you are, what you do, not a lot of time, don't invade their space, just a quick hello. And I accomplished the mission, and I was successful. So I shared that in the video, that I had three conversations, two of which were about town stuff. But then one was about a lady who's taking over her mom's house for the last 2 years and never heard from a realtor. I said, would you be okay with a realtor stopping by and knocking on your door? She goes, well, it's a little uncomfortable. If I need the information, sure, I'd be okay with that. And you were telling me a little bit story about some door knocking, and I'd love to hear that again.
That's great. I'm a real believer in that. I'm an old school guy, but I've been blessed recently with my son, 20 years old, wanting to get into the business. So I've been taking him around with me, showing him some of the things that I used to do. And just had a listing. A friend of ours listed their house in Brooklyn, Bensonhurst, forget about it. And we went there door knocking, actually, with open house flyers. And I said, this is what we have to do. We have to do, this block, that block, and all around it, knocking on the door, saying hello and telling them about the open house. Well, we did that, and it was a great experience. Not only did we sell the open house on Sunday at the open house from one of the flyers that we handed out, but we also have 2 listing leads of other people that are looking to sell their house in the area. So it really worked out well for us. And it's old school. And so for me to be telling my son, this is what I used to do, and I think that people aren't doing it enough today, this is how I'd like to see you get back into the business, doing it the right way. I know it. And it worked.
Well, and we talked briefly about the combination of the new school world of lead generation and Zulia, whatever you want to call it, right? We have the ability to go out there and grab some business. But the problem with that, I think agents are focused too much on grabbing new business instead of maintaining and cultivating their sphere of influence.
Right. And I think that's important. That's a great way to do it. But I think the old school roots, again, will prevail. So we'll get those 2 listings. We get this one sold, get 2 listings on it, do the door knocking for their open houses of those properties, get to know the area, start sending sphere of influence letters of about the neighborhood, market reports, and go to the civic meetings, and then my son will be the expert in that area in no time.
See that? I think it's great, because there's no doubt that new stuff can work, but there's no doubt, I think anyway, the new stuff won't work unless you completely have that foundation of old school real estate. And by, not the silver spoon effect, but you're helping your son get into the business and sometimes I've talked to dads and moms saying, oh, I don't want my son doing this. I've had 30 years of doing this. But if you're doing it right, and it's really part of your heart and soul, then of course it makes sense to at least offer it to a son or daughter.
Right. I had a lot of the plumbing route. They went to plumbing, fixing cars, and all that other stuff, everything but real estate. But I just took him around a little bit with me in the last week or so to show him what I do, and he really gets it. He's actually signing up for the real estate classes now, and He was helping me out at the open house. I said, look, I can't pay you on this one, but if you were a licensed agent, you could make yourself some good money on this type of
So thank you for that, because that really hits home what I've been trying to preach, being a non-realtor outside looking in, but I think I've helped and worked with brokers and agents for 20 years. I have some skin in the game, at least a little bit, but have it kind of from a broker of your stature, I think is great to hear. I don't want to leave that topic. Unfortunately, we're probably going to go long. I think that's fine. Tell me the other story that you talked about with the door knocking, because I think that one shows how you take an opportunity, and even though it's not right there in front of you, you make it happen.
Yeah, another great opportunity that resulted in a sale. So I had a friend of mine who said, John, I really want you to list the property. And I haven't been in the business doing the listings on a day-to-day basis. Running a brokerage doesn't give me enough time to do that. But I said, you know what? It happened. I knew the wife, I knew the husband, I knew the son from 3 different worlds, and they all connected and said, no, John Reinhardt has to be the guy to do this. So I ended up, saying, okay, I'll be happy to do this for you. I take the listing, go into the house, and get it ready for selling. And then we had an open house and sold it. There were actually 2 buyers willing to buy this house that were already pre-approved and ready to go on the house. So now I had 2 buyers for $1 million looking to buy the house and 1 property. So what do you do when you have 1 property and 2 buyers? Well, I went old school again and knocked on the doors one by one and went back again. And then I saw a guy pulling into his driveway, and I said, look, I've been trying to get you. I left my card on your door. I have a buyer that's ready, willing, and able to buy your house. It's the exact same house as one I just sold on the block, willing to give you $1 million. Are you interested in selling? He goes, as a matter of fact, my wife passed away last October. I would love to, to sell the house and move it. And if you have a buyer like that, I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say. I went to his house again on the weekend with his brother there who had to sell it with him. We made the agreement to list the property. It was sold that week, and it resulted in a sale right like that.
Yes, I love it. That's awesome, John, because again, there's stories that are real. I can fabricate, I can come up with anything. I'm creative. I love doing it. But at the same time, there's no doubt real life stuff is going to always hit home so much harder than someone just painting a picture. So Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So let's wrap it back on the fun side of life. Not that real estate isn't fun. And by the way, the door knocking I did, that was a blast. It was awkward at times. No doubt it was awkward because there's folks that I didn't know at all, but we're from the same town, same community. Why can't it be at least halfway comfortable? So let's go with this one. I have our bucket list in life. And we're both talking about, starting our own brokerage together, the Silver Brooks down the road. We're going to say the Silver Bricks of the world. We're going to get together. Well, I don't hide it very well. My pop said, do you dye your hair?
Look at my hair. Come on, it's shiny. Great.
So the bucket list, we have I have probably 10 things that I have on my list that I always look at. They're goals for me. It motivates me to work harder to try to achieve them. But we know there's some that probably won't happen. But is there one that you really want to make sure happens that's on your bucket list?
Well, I just got into photography and everything, and my name from college, which I shouldn't reveal here, but I will, is Rhino. So people know me as Rhino from the early days. So
I've heard that at the conference, by the way, John. So,
well, all my good old friends know me, and you're one of them, so that's good. So, I did meet a National Geographic photographer at a distinguished event at one day, and he told me all about going to meet the rhinos in Africa. So that's one of my goals. It's on my bucket list, and I think I'm going to do it next year. I turned 60 years old, and I told my wife, I said, no parties, no nothing. Here's what I'd like to accomplish. I'd like to go with the family to Africa on a safari. So that's my goal on my bucket list, and I'm hoping to accomplish it.
Well, it sounds attainable. When you say family, who would you hope went with you on this adventure? I know I'm not family. But.
No. Well, yeah. My wife and kids. My wife and kids. 5 of us. If we could all go there together and enjoy that type of experience. And then I actually want to. This guy was telling me there is a rhino that you can walk up to and pet. He knows them intimately. So if I could do that,
it's not like at a zoo when they let you pet something. This is a real live out there rhino.
Right. This guy knows him. It's his job. It's his profession. And he said, he can take me to that rhino and go up and pet to that docile rhino, and then that'll be the shot you'll see all over Facebook on that day.
Right on. If I do get a chance to go, I'm the guy in the van watching you take the pictures and get a nice touch of the rhino. I'm like, good, great job, John. We'll take a picture.
I hear you, awesome. Pal. I hear you.
Well, right on. This has been great. I really do appreciate it. Now we always end with the real estate radio. We always say, good day.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.